The Wood Shop is sponsored by Chefware Kits, with hundreds of items for wood turners. Alright, welcome back. I hope everyone enjoyed the birdhouse video. I had a lot of fun doing that. It's for the Summer's Woodworking Build a Birdhouse competition. It's through the end of the month. I will put a link down below to Brian's channel so you can get all the details on that. So get out in the shop, build one, and film it, and enter the contest. It's a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know who Bob Ross is, he was just an amazing painter, but more than that, he was an amazing teacher. You'll find more people watched his show who don't paint and just enjoyed watching him create, and it was just a joy to watch. Alright, I've been wanting to just do some art pieces for a while, and I watched one of John Peters' videos the other day, and it just inspired me to get out here and do it. So I've had this piece for a while, and I'm not sure what type of wood it is. It's soft, but I could never really, you know, do anything with it. It's soft, so I didn't want to turn a bowl or something. I didn't know how it would turn out, but I love the shape. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to run through the surface sander a couple of times and then mount it on the lathe and put some detail in it. And then I made this sphere a while back, and I am going to mount this in here somehow. And hopefully it'll come out. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I need to mount this to the lathe somehow, and here's what I'm going to do. I took a round piece of wood, I measured it across here, it's 16 inches, so center is 8 inches this way. I can't get center this way, it would be way out here because it's about 10 inches that way. So what I did is have a little round discs here. Because I'm screwing into, this is in grain, you don't want to just screw screws in there and they'll pull out pretty easy. So I'm going to hot glue this part on right here, and then I'm going to put a couple of screws in it, and then I am going to screw and glue that on there too. And then that way I can just take two jaws out of my chuck and grab it in a couple of different positions, and it'll hopefully put in some nice little detail grooves, and I'm going to set the sphere in the middle there. Alright, so I moved it back and forth in the jaws until I got the arc I wanted, and just took a pencil and used that as a reference point. I brought the tailstock up to hold these two into the jaws because I took two of the jaws out, so I wanted to make sure it stays in there. Now, like I said before, this is just hot glued on, and then I put in 3 screws in the back of it, but it's in grain, so you have to be careful no matter what. Alright, so I'm going to test around or play around with the speed a little bit until I can get it to run as fast as it can without being shaken around too much, because the faster it's going to go, the smoother it's going to cut, because you're in the air about 40% of the time on this piece. So I'm going to play around with that, and once I get that set, I'll tell you what it is. Alright, I played around with it a little bit, and about 560 it still wobbles a little bit, but the slower it's going, the more it wobbles, but I don't want to turn it up much faster than that. If it comes off there, it's going to break something here in the shop. Hopefully it won't hit me though, but face shield. Alright, and I'm just going to use a bowl gouge, and I'm just going to make a couple little grooves right there, and then I'm going to adjust it and make another one somewhere else. Actually, I'm going to switch tools. I'm going to try this little detail tool, and because I want it to go in deeper but not be quite so wide, so I'm going to try that. That actually worked perfect. A nice little V there. Okay, and I'm going to do this one out here. Okay, I'm just going to run through the surface sander a couple more times to get rid of that little catch there. I don't want to make this one wider than the rest of them, and I like it. I like that shape right there. All right, so now I'm going to pull it off the lathe and work on the center here. All right, when I put some oil on this, it's going to turn deep red. I'm not sure. I think it's maybe redwood, but I'm not sure. I know it's not cedar. But anyway, so I'm going to use this maple burl ball, and what I'm going to do is just kind of center it in here using the oscillating sander. So I'm just going to work on that and to get it centered. All right, and then the ball will sit right in there. I'll pick a good spot on the, with some burl on it, and I want it to go about halfway down. I'm going to use a French cleat on the back side of it, so it will stick out from the wall probably about 1.5 inches or so I don't have to cut the sphere down, and I will put it in there like that. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and sand it. I'm going to run through all the grits, and then I'm going to sand this by hand and put some oil on it. I just drilled a hole in it, put a dowel in there. Just gonna, oh, and I drilled a hole in the back, slide it right together like that. And I'll mess around with that a little bit to try and get the best spot on it. All right, I just put a little bit of glue on the dowel to glue that in, and I really like the contrasting woods there. I think it came out nice. If you're gonna do something like this for some off-center turning like that, be super careful. Hold on to your tool tight because you're turning a lot of air out here, and if it gets caught, you know, I was just taking super light cuts on that. So just be careful, but as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.